What is going on, guys? Paul Ryan back at it again. I hope everybody's having a good night, a good start to their weekend. The Cowboys have been active the past couple of days, and I got to say, some pretty interesting moves. The most notable move being bringing back Dante Fowler, defensive end, who last year in Washington had 10.5 sacks, and previously playing for the Cowboys. I love that move, strengthening the defensive line and not putting so much unnecessary pressure on the uh, scouting staff to try to find a defensive end in case maybe Sam Williams takes a little longer than usual to come back from injury. I know coming back from an ACL, that's an injury that usually takes a year, not just a year to recover, but almost 2 years to get back to the player you were before. And we really don't know what we have in Sam Williams, and of course we've seen glimpses, but it's nice to know that we've got some resources there so that if it takes Sam a little bit longer to get into to form, that we're not going to be so reliant on him and Dante Fowler. Man, Dante Fowler and Peyton Turner and Sam Williams, that's a pretty interesting defensive end as far as, guys who are going to get to the quarterback, that not necessarily designated pass rusher, but just guys who are more utilized in that type of role as far as rushing the passer. In addition to Dante Fowler, the Cowboys also brought in Miles Sanders, formerly of the Carolina Panthers. Didn't really have the seasons that we thought he might have after signing that big contract going over to Carolina. Of course, Carolina not being that great of an offense, and then playing behind Chuba Hubbard, things just didn't really pan out for Miles Sanders. However, Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams got to feel decent about that backfield. And again, the front office taking pressure off the scouting staff in case the draft doesn't go the way that they want it to or hope that they will, and maybe they're unable to get the running back that they target in the draft. Maybe Genty doesn't fall to them. Maybe they don't want to reach for a Hampton. So again, they're taking pressure off the scouting staff. They're taking pressure off themselves, having to maybe potentially force a pick or reach for a guy in the day two rounds, and they can use those picks on something else. So I don't necessarily love the move, but I think it's a smart move. And I think Miles Sanders and Javonte Williams an interesting backfield. I don't really know how their skill sets complement each other, but hey, I guess we'll find out. And they also bring in Paris Campbell, a guy who was a second round pick, hasn't really panned out. I saw today that the Cowboys are going to be his third NFC East team that he's going to be playing for. He's to me just kind of a camp body, a veteran camp body. Nice, again, just more of a depth piece. He hasn't really done much. I know he has the skill set. He has the I don't even know if I want to say if he has the ability. He just he's dealt with a lot of injuries and he's gotten opportunities, but hasn't really been utilized. I don't know if he's just not earning targets or what it is, because he's kind of like a training camp guy where you hear a lot of talk about how he's doing well in training camp and gets fantasy players like myself excited, and then when the season comes around you never really see the guy. So not sure what to make of that outside of just another depth piece. And it's another low risk, high reward signing, because you think about, like, maybe I'm thinking that maybe the Cowboys are starting to kind of learn from their mistakes, because last year, outside of CD, we didn't really have a lot of producers at receiver. I mean, of course, Tolbert had a decent year. We saw some glimpses from Turpin, but we couldn't trust. We never really saw Jalen Cropper. We couldn't trust Brooks. He had some opportunities and didn't really do much with those opportunities. And Florida wasn't really ready to step into a starting role. So you bring in a guy like a Paris Campbell, um, and while he hasn't shown much, at least he's a veteran. He is going to, I'd like to think, at least know the playbook and be able to fill a void in need be in case of emergency. Because again, after CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Cooks were out, we really didn't see a lot of receivers do much. I know it seemed like Schoonmaker and Rico Dowdle really were the ones who stood out when this team was depleted by all those injuries, especially on offense. Especially when we lost Dak, it was Cooper Rush and Schoonmaker and Rico Dowdle, and CeeDee Lamb, of course, having the season that he had, even after Dak got injured and then playing injured. But still, when he missed time, we didn't really see much from these receivers. So again, I like all these low risk, high reward types of players. I like adding depth to these positions. It's interesting because now you feel a lot better going into the draft. You can almost go with like a best player available type of approach. I still think this, oddly enough, that with all the moves that we've made, even adding all these depth pieces, we haven't necessarily filled any holes. But again, we are making it a lot easier on ourselves to go in the draft and not have to draft for need. So really like what the Cowboys have done. They've been selectively aggressive. I guess Steven, was keeping his word about being selectively aggressive, and I think these moves have shown that. But what has been your favorite move so far that the Cowboys have made this offseason? Let me know in the comments. And is there some guys out there that you're hoping maybe the Cowboys will still bring in? And what position do you think the Cowboys still need to address here in free agency? Leave that in the comment, guys. As always, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like this video. I'm Paul Ryan. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.